From the very start, the tension in Atlanta was impossible to ignore, hanging in the air like electricity. Fans had already seen the back and forth between Rasheeda and Yandy, a feud simmering for weeks. But no one expected the night to explode into the shocking drama now making headlines. Social media buzzed with rumors, blogs were flooded with speculation, and viewers were left stunned by one claim. Kirk Frost, yes, Rasheeda's husband, allegedly snapped during the heated confrontation and directed his anger at Yandy. But did he really lash out? Or was this just another rumor spinning out of control? Cameras might have missed some moments, but insiders say the argument reached a breaking point no one could contain. The idea of Kirk stepping into the chaos driven by pride, betrayal, and old grudges left fans of Love and Hip Hop stunned. Could the man known for staying calm really lose his composure in front of everyone? Tonight we're breaking down what went down, what was said, and why viewers believe this may be the most intense chapter yet in the saga of Rasheeda, Yandy, and now Kirk. The atmosphere was already charged, the air thick with tension, as every sharp remark from Rasheeda and Yandy cut through the room. Fans thought they were in for another typical verbal clash. Some digs, a few eye rolls, but no one realized just how intense the night would get. Yandy came in confident, her voice steady but her words sharp, challenging Rasheeda about marriage issues and old podcast confessions. She didn't hold back, tossing accusations like daggers. Rasheeda, however, wasn't going to sit quietly. Her patience had worn thin after months of gossip and speculation. The exchange escalated quickly. Insults flew across the table as both women tried to outshout the other, and the nearby crowd shifted uncomfortably. Caught between shock and excitement, Kirk sat in the background at first, arms crossed, his face unreadable. He usually stayed out of Rasheeda's battles, letting her handle the drama herself. But tonight was different. As Yandy's words became sharper and she brought up Jasmine's name, fans noticed Kirk's jaw tightening, his eyes narrowing. This was no longer just a fight between two women. It was hitting his pride, his family, his reputation. Yandy leaned in, her voice dripping with disdain as she called out Kirk's role in scandals that had haunted Rasheeda for years. "You act like your house is clean," she sneered. "But people remember everything. Jasmine, the lies, the baby, the drama, and now you want to come at me?" The words hung like a ticking bomb. Rasheeda fired back, slamming her hand on the table. "Don't you dare drag my marriage into this. You've been obsessed with me for too long. If you've got something to say it to my face." The tension turned into a storm of emotion, the kind that fuels reality TV. Attempts to calm the situation were useless, like throwing water on a wildfire. Finally, Kirk leaned forward, his usual calm cracking. "Enough," he growled, his voice low but full of anger. All eyes turned to him. The man who usually avoided the drama was now right in the middle of it. Yandy, never one to back down, smirked. "Oh, now you want to talk? Where was this energy when your mess was all over the blogs? Don't think I don't know what really goes on." The room gasped. Kirk's patience snapped as years of tension and past scandals were dragged into the spotlight. "You think you can throw dirt on my name and walk away?" he shouted, louder than anyone expected. "You don't know when to stop." His fists clenched, muscles twitching, and insiders said he looked dangerously close to losing control. Rasheeda tried to hold him back. "Kirk, don't give her what she wants," she urged, but Yandy pressed on. "Look at you. You can't handle the truth. Your wife has been carrying you for years, and you're still trying to act like the man." The crowd gasped and laughed nervously, the energy spinning out of control. Someone shouted for security, though no one stepped in yet. Kirk's face was red, his voice booming. "Watch yourself. Keep my name and my family out of your mouth or you'll regret it." The threat wasn't physical, but it sent chills through the room. Fans later replayed the scene, noticing how Rasheeda's eyes darted nervously between her husband and Yandy, realizing this could spiral. Yandy, on the other hand, looked satisfied, as if she had accomplished exactly what she wanted: push Kirk to his limit and leave him fuming. The fight went beyond words. Years of rumors, betrayals, and buried feelings surfaced. Kirk had been dragged through headlines before, but Yandy confronting him publicly during a showdown with Rasheeda was the ultimate trigger. Every insult cut deeper. Every glare stoked the fire. No one knew how far it would go. Could Kirk control his anger, or would it ignite into something irreversible? The silence after his warning was heavy, almost suffocating. Phones shook in hands, some recording, some frozen in disbelief. It was rare to see Kirk push this far. Stripped of his calm and cornered in front of everyone, Yandy leaned back, smirking. "You sound tough now, Kirk. But being tough doesn't change facts. You've been exposed before, and nothing you say can fix that." Rasheeda's eyes blazed, torn between defending her husband and shutting down her loudest rival. "Girl, don't get it twisted," she snapped. "You've been twisting my marriage for attention, but your house isn't in order either. Don't act like you're innocent." Fans noticed Rasheeda's voice crack slightly, not from weakness, but from holding back years of pent-up emotion. The fight was no longer entertainment. It was raw, personal, and dangerously close to spilling over. Kirk stood rigid, fists clenched, breathing heavy. When he spoke again, the room went silent. You want to drag my past and my family? Fine, but know there's a line and you crossed it. Yandy didn't flinch. She leaned in, lowering her voice. Maybe I crossed it, maybe I told the truth. Either way, everyone sees you for what you are, and it stings, doesn't it? Rasheeda slammed her hand on the table again. Truth? You wouldn't recognize it if it hit you. You've been obsessed with me since day one, following me in podcasts, interviews, side comments. But let me be clear, I don't revolve around you. The tension was unbearable. Friends tried to intervene, urging calm, but it was too late. Pride, ego, and years of bruised reputations had taken over. Someone shouted from the sidelines, "You can't silence her, Rasheeda. She's saying what everyone's thinking." Kirk snapped his head toward the voice. "Stay out of this," he barked. The room was electric. Every glare, every sneer, every cutting remark fed the storm. Fans later described it as nearly impossible to watch, like witnessing a volcano erupt in slow motion. Just when it seemed the fight had peaked, another layer of resentment surfaced. Yandy's smirk faded into something colder. "Let me tell you what your problem is, Kirk," she began. Yandy couldn't hide her frustration. "You can't handle it that someone finally said what everyone else has been whispering for years. Your so-called perfect family, your brand, your name, it's all cracked. And instead of owning it, you lash out." Kirk stepped forward, his voice trembling but sharp with intensity. "Lash out? You call this lashing out? No. This is me telling you one last time. Keep my family out of your mouth. You keep pushing, and I promise you, you won't like how it ends." His words hit like a hammer, heavy and impossible to ignore. Though he didn't act physically, the threat alone hung over the room like a storm cloud. Rasheeda tried to calm things, but her voice was fierce. "You keep dragging my husband, but don't act like you're the victim here. You stir drama to stay relevant. People see right through that now. And now you've messed with the wrong person." The shouting continued, voices overlapping in a chaotic storm of accusations. Fans later said the raw emotion could almost be felt through the screen. No one was backing down. Just when it seemed the fight might collapse under its own weight, an unexpected voice spoke up. A close friend of Rasheeda's, who had been watching quietly. "Yandy, you talk about receipts all the time, but do you want me to show what I know? You sure you want that smoke?" The room gasped. Yandy's confident smirk faltered, her eyes narrowing. "You don't know anything about me. You're just one of her lapdogs," she shot back. But the tension in her voice betrayed a flicker of doubt. The energy shifted. Secrets, long hidden, seemed ready to surface. And fans later said this was the moment the fight became more than a personal clash. It turned into a spectacle that sucked everyone in. Kirk's glare never left Yandy. His body tense, though even he seemed distracted by the possibility of new revelations. No one dared walk away, not when the night had already shattered expectations, not when the next words could change everything. As Rasheeda's friend dropped her bombshell, the room erupted again. People gasped, voices overlapping, and Yandy's smirk faded as curiosity replaced her shock. The crowd leaned in, desperate to hear what hidden receipts might emerge. Even Kirk, whose anger had been the focal point earlier, paused and looked sharply at the new speaker. "Don't play games," Yandy hissed, trying to regain control. "If you've got something to say it. But don't act like you know my life better than me." Her voice carried a hint of defensiveness, which Rasheeda immediately pounced on. "That's the difference between us," Rasheeda shot back, eyes locked on Yandy. "I don't flinch when people bring up my name because I know where I stand. But you? The second someone threatens to expose you, your whole act crumbles." Yandy slammed her hand on the table. "Scared of what? I've been through more than you can imagine, and I'm still standing. If anyone should be scared, it's you and your husband. You've been hiding skeletons for years, and you hate it when someone shines a light on them." Kirk's jaw tightened, his eyes fixed on Yandy as though her words were knives slicing through his patience. "You better watch it," he warned, voice low but heavy with menace. "You think you know everything, but you don't. Talking about me and my family will take you to places you don't want to go." Fans later said the tension was so thick, it could have exploded into a physical fight at any second. The energy was raw, even viewers at home felt their hearts racing. But the drama twisted again when Rasheeda's friend spoke up, louder this time. "Yandy, you keep talking about receipts, but what about the secrets you've been hiding? The people you've betrayed to climb higher? You want to call out marriages, families, mistakes? Fine, but remember your closet has skeletons too, and I'll pull them out if I have to." Gasps filled the room. Yandy froze, her quick comeback silenced for the first time. She shook her head, laughing nervously. "Please, you don't scare me. People have tried to tear me down for years. I'm still standing. I'll always be here." But the laugh didn't hide the uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Rasheeda leaned forward, voice sharp. "You come at everyone else, but the second someone hints at exposing you, you crack. You talk about obsession, but girl, you've been obsessed with me. My marriage, my husband, my family. And you think I wouldn't notice. You live for drama, but now the drama's living for you. The crowd stirred, some nodding, others whispering in disbelief. Kirk, however, pressed harder. All these years you've been stirring the pot, he said, voice deep and cutting. Don't act like you're untouchable. One day, the truth you think you're proud of exposing is going to swallow you whole. And when that happens, don't say nobody warned you. Yandy shot him a glare. You think you can intimidate me? No. I say what I want when I want. If that makes you uncomfortable, maybe you should look at yourself. Rasheeda's patience snapped. Girl, please. All that big talk, but deep down, you know the truth. You ain't fearless, you're just loud. And there's a big difference. The tension simmered like lava ready to erupt. The room teetered on edge, each person waiting to see who would crack first. Fans replayed the scene again and again, analyzing every glance, every twitch, every subtle movement of Kirk's hands, searching for clues. Then came another twist. A producer, worried the chaos was spiraling, tried to intervene. Look, we need to cool this down. This is going too far. But Rasheeda's voice cut through immediately. Don't try to save her now. She wanted this. She begged for it, and I'm finishing what I need to say. The producer stepped back, knowing the storm couldn't be stopped yet. Yandy leaned forward, voice sharp and cutting. You think your little circle can destroy me? Nah, I've survived worse. I've been dragged, lied on, thrown to the wolves. And guess what? I came back leading the pack. If you think a few threats are going to scare me, think again. Kirk stepped closer, looming larger than ever, voice trembling with controlled rage. Keep talking, Yandy. Keep poking the bear. But don't cry when it bites back. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Rasheeda clutched his arm tightly, eyes flashing with fury and fear. Kirk, don't let her drag you down. She's not worth it. But Kirk's glare never left Yandy. The air between them was so charged it felt like the room might explode. Fans later said this moment was one of the most shocking in love and hip-hop history. A true battle of wills, where every second felt like it could be the breaking point. Even with the shouting, threats, and accusations flying, everyone knew something even bigger was still waiting to unfold. The storm wasn't over. Everyone in the room froze, unsure of what might happen next. Kirk's glare was sharp, unyielding, while Yandy refused to flinch, making the tension even heavier. It was like watching two unstoppable forces collide, with Rasheeda caught in the middle, trying desperately to keep her world from falling apart on camera. Finally, Rasheeda's voice cut through, louder and more desperate than before. Enough! You keep dragging my family. You keep playing with my husband's name. But this ends now. I'm not going to let you build your platform on my pain. I've worked too hard, sacrificed too much, stood through too many storms to let you rewrite my story. Her chest rose and fell with each word. Hands trembling despite her attempt to appear strong, Yandy laughed bitterly, shaking her head. Rewrite your story, please. I didn't write it. You did. Your story's been out there long before I said a word. I just repeated what everyone already knew. The crowd gasped at her blunt delivery, her words slicing directly into Rasheeda's pride. Before Rasheeda could respond, Kirk's voice thundered across the room. You get one more time to disrespect my wife, one more time to put her name in your mouth, and I promise, you won't like what comes next. The intensity in his tone silenced everyone, even Yandy. It wasn't just what he said, but how he said it. Low, steady, filled with a rage that made the room vibrate. For a moment, it felt like he might actually lose control. Yet Yandy, clearly rattled, refused to back down. She leaned forward, voice rising. So what are you going to do, Kirk? You think threatening me makes you look strong? It makes you look weak. A real man doesn't need to silence a woman to feel powerful, but I guess that's not something you'd understand. Rasheeda's face twisted with fury. Don't you dare talk to him like that. Don't you dare. Her words carried both anger and humiliation. Pushed to the edge by someone who thrived on provoking. The crowd murmured, tension crackling like electricity. Some whispered prayers under their breath, while others leaned in, hungry for the explosion they knew was coming. Just when it seemed Kirk might finally snap, a respected older cast member spoke from the back. This ain't it. This ain't the way. You're tearing each other down in front of everybody, for pride, for ego. The blogs are going to eat this alive, and none of you are coming out looking good. The words landed like a splash of cold water. Rasheeda blinked, chest heaving as reality sank in. His jaw clenched, her bravado faltering as the reminder of public perception hit her, and even Kirk exhaled sharply, holding back his rage. But Yandy was far from finished. Don't preach to me about looking good. I've survived worse storms than this, and I came back stronger every time. This isn't going to break me. It's just another chapter, Rasheeda sneered. Another chapter? Girl, this is your whole book. Messy, loud, desperate for attention. You don't build, you destroy. And the saddest part? You think that's power? For the first time that night, hurt flashed across Yandy's face, quickly buried under anger. Everyone noticed. Kirk saw it too, voice cold and steady. You wanted to make this about me, about us. But really, you just wanted a reaction. And now everybody sees what you really are. Someone who can't stand on her own without dragging someone else down. Yandy slammed her hands on the table, voice cracking with fury. You think you broke me? No, I'll never be broken. Unlike you, I don't hide behind a perfect image. I live my truth and I don't care who can't handle it. The crowd erupted again. Phones buzzed, fans shouting and gasping, every line heavier than the last. The drama was relentless, every insult pushing tension higher, but exhaustion started creeping in. Rasheeda's throat was raw, Kirk's breathing heavy, his glare strained. The fight had consumed them all, leaving raw nerves and bruised pride in its wake. Eventually, producers and crew stepped in, gently but firmly guiding everyone apart. "This has to stop now," one producer said. "We can't let it go any further." Rasheeda pulled Kirk back, hand still gripping his arm, afraid he might surge forward again. Yandy stood her ground, arms crossed, breathing sharp, eyes daring anyone to challenge her. The room slowly began to settle, but the damage was done. Words had been said, threats made, and memories burned into everyone present. Fans flooded social media with reactions. Some sided with Rasheeda and Kirk. Others applauded Yandy for standing her ground. One fan tweeted, "This is the kind of raw drama that keeps me hooked. They left it all on the floor tonight." Another wrote, "I've never seen Kirk this angry before. He almost lost it. I don't know if this feud can ever be fixed." The night ended without resolution. No apologies, no handshakes, no reconciliation, just silence, broken pride, and the knowledge the battle wasn't. The fight between Rasheeda and Yandy was already explosive, but Kirk stepping in took it to a whole new level. From marriage accusations to podcast shade, old scandals to raw emotions, nothing was off limits. Pride was tested, friendship strained, and secrets exposed. The truth? No one walked away a victor. Kirk's anger shook the room. Rasheeda's pride burned hotter than ever, and Yandy refused to bend. The family was divided. The cast rattled, and fans stunned, left wondering how this feud could move forward. Would Kirk regret losing control? Could Rasheeda and Yandy ever find common ground? Or had the damage gone too far? Now the questions are yours. Whose side are you on? Was Yandy brave for standing her ground or reckless for provoking Kirk? Did Rasheeda defend her family or just add fuel to the fire? And do you think Kirk's breaking point could change the course of love and hip-hop Atlanta? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you live for the drama, the shade, and behind-the-scenes tea, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This season is only getting messier, and you don't want to be the last to know what happens next.